What's up, ladies and gentlemen? Mikey McNuggets, joined by Xavier, the real Xavier P on Twitter, friend of the program. We've had him on before for the first Browns fan show, and we got into a discussion this weekend, X, that I thought would make a interesting stream for the people. We have about 15 minutes due to a little technical difficulty, so if we got to get to a part two, we'll get to a part two of this another day. But I wanted to open up the floor to you on this. The coverage of the Browns and how people who have been lifelong fans of the team perceive some of that coverage. This all started when G. Bush on the barbershop on the UCSS channel had some pointed words towards a certain media member on his coverage of the quarterback battle. We had Zach Jackson on Monday on UCSS who had a differing opinion to the first journalist that G. Bush was in question. So I want to open the floor so we could have a back and forth and kind of get to the bottom of this, X. But I'll start with the basic question. Do you think the Browns get covered fairly or not?
Well, normally no, but on this specific thing, I think it's fair. You know what? It's 50-50. It's 50-50. The national media or anyone who is downplaying how the Browns process of drafting Shedeur and looking negatively at the Browns for drafting Shedeur, where they drafted him, or they drafted Gabriel first. I think that's unfair. Whatever their boards was, whatever decision they made the decision, but they also made the decision to draft Shedeur. So by them drafting Shedeur, whatever happened before in the draft, whoever they drafted before him, to me, should be a moot point. So to me, anyone talking about the Browns and where they drafted him at, it shouldn't matter. They drafted him. But what you say with G. Bush and the specific person that you're talking about, I think that Cleveland media is covering the Browns and Shedeur fairly, but I think that one person does have some animus towards Shedeur because he's not his prototypical quarterback. He like the Josh Allen type quarterback. He like the big, fast, strong QB. So he will probably love Lenore Sellers next year. I know he's going to like Aller next year, who I think is not good at this point. But I think everyone else is covering the Browns fairly in the QB competition fairly. And I just think the CU fans, it has a disconnect. I think they're emotional on how they're protecting Shedeur and how they know he's being, given a bad rap on what he's doing versus what his team might be doing. So I think they're here to protect him. And they're not giving the Cleveland media a fair chance to voice their fair opinion because it's the offseason. They're here for the Browns, not just Shedeur. So I think that's the disconnect.
I do think it's funny that we have come to some sort of, as a community of people who talk about the Browns, any kind of definitive conclusion after 3 rookie camp practices in shorts on air with no pass rush, as if the reality of Shedeur looking way better than Gabriel, or someone thought that Gabriel looked better than Shedeur in May in shorts makes any impact or any real football logical decisions down the road as to, remember that practice in May, X? Shedeur outplayed Dillon. We have so much football to go between those two that, and listen, we're guilty of it on UCSS. I'm not going to run away from it. We are going to have that discussion every time we get footage from those two. But to think that any of this stuff is the end-all, be-all, and if one person thinks that one guy had a better practice and the other person thinks the other guy had a better practice, it's all someone's opinion. There's no real touchdowns. I know some of the numbers that were floated out there were potentially misconstrued. I also saw my guy Corey Skuzma, I think is how you pronounce his last name, on Twitter. He put out that one of the quarterbacks went 40 for 44. With 700 yards and 9 touchdowns and broke every practice record. And I saw people legitimately using those as numbers, which goes to show we don't have real numbers. This ain't the ESPN box score that we can all go back and look at.
Right.
It's all how you want to personally perceive this back and forth quarterback battle. And your point on the Colorado fans coming in here. And let me say first and foremost, I am for the CU Aunties. Like all the people that have come to UCSS, the new subscribers, like thank you for being here. And we hope you stick around, Shedeur or not. And our job is to give our fair, honest opinion. And sometimes if Shedeur plays poorly, we're going to criticize him. And if he plays awesome, X, he's going to get praised and beloved like an athlete Never has in this city, at least since I've been here. That month of Joe Flacco, that December of 23, you would have thought Joe Flacco was Jesus Christ. Like, that is the level of popularity Joe Flacco rose to. And Shedeur is a chance to make that look like being a Z-list celebrity. That's
Yes.
his full potential here if things work out in Cleveland.
I think he has his potential. Honestly, I think Gabriel does too. So, but the CU aunties in Colorado have a stronger fan base. But I think the Cleveland fans, and I think the issue that the Cleveland fans are having with the Colorado fans is we're just happy. Well, I'm going to speak for everyone. I'm just happy that Joe Flacco and Kenny Pickett is not our
Your
QB.
answer.
Yes, we have two rookies that I feel fit Kevin Stefanski, and they're kind of the same but different. They don't put the ball in harm's way, and they're very accurate. One is more mobile, and one is shorter. So they bring their flaws and their benefits, but I'm happy that we're actually having a battle. And to me, it's going to benefit them too and the team because with Kevin Stefanski, how he ran his camps previously, where some people call him Camp Cupcake or whatever.
I think fairly, by the way. Fairly.
I don't think we can do that this year because of the two rookies. We need reps. We need to see what our four quarterbacks have. And for that reason, I don't think it's going to be a soft camp because people have to play and get reps, and we have to get a legitimate number one. So I just think that we're in a good situation. And I told the CU aunties, and some of them listen to me, they follow me on Twitter, and I told them, I said, this is where you have to understand is what we at OTC call cut off water. So people are going to, because Shedeur is going to feed families. It's like the anti-LeBron and the Jordan conversation. They're going to feed families. And I told them, I said, hey, what y'all need to do is not attack the people who say something negative, but you need to make sure that you help those that are talking positively or fairly and are saying what you want them to say. Support those people. Because as soon as y'all attack the one person who says something crazy, y'all are going to make them do it more. Because honestly, Skip Bayless' whole career is based off us arguing with him about LeBron.
There's such a thing, and this is something I had to learn when I got into Media X. Hate watching is more powerful than anything else. People, and Skip and Stephen A. both are the two greatest ever in this realm. And I say this with the utmost admiration and respect. I'm not saying this in a negative tone to either of them because I cannot be that person. Right. They draw ratings, and they have built their careers off people absolutely hating their opinion and tuning in every single day to hear what they had to say so they can run around to their friends and say, did you hear what Skip said about Tim Tebow or about LeBron James? They make their living. And it's not every take they do, but the LeBron takes, the Tim Tebow takes, the Stephen A. Smith Cowboys whole bit, because they know that they're going to get a reaction. And at the end of the day, I tell this to everyone who comes on UCSS. It is better to be hated than it is to be ignored. Exactly. And if you can't elicit some sort of reaction in somebody, either a good, I agree, a bad, if someone says, hey, what do you think about insert media member? I'll use myself. What do you think about Mikey McNuggets? And he goes, don't really care what he says. I've lost. So you have to kind of not pick a side, but if you're in that hot take world, you have to either pick I'm pro or I'm anti, because it's impossible to say, I don't care what that person has to say in that realm. And it's going to, or it has the potential to, it has the potential to cause a kind of divide in a fan base, because you go back to the Flacco, the Deshaun stuff. How many people were neutral on Deshaun, X? Was it possible to be neutral on Deshaun? You had to be in the Deshaun camp or against the Deshaun camp. And if you were neutral, people just automatically placed you in whatever camp they thought you should be in without you ever actually taking a stance. And I think and once again, none of this has to do with Shedeur, the person. Shedeur has not done anything wrong whatsoever. Zero, zilch, not a nothing. This is just the attention that comes with being Shedeur Sanders, being Deion's son, playing the most important position in sports. And it's not a shame, but it's an unfair reality of what comes with Shedeur Sanders, because he has nothing to do with it himself.
Do you think the new Netflix show Prime is going to have fans or people rolling their eyes and thinking about Shedeur?
Yeah. Because he lives on people's minds for better or worse. That's the magic of Deion, X. He has that ability to rent space in millions of people's heads that don't care about 98% of things.
I just think that, because I know you have to go soon, I just think
we'll resume this. We'll do a part 2.
This might be the perfect storm, because I'm just wondering where this is going to go. So I'm thinking he's going to be the starter, or him or Gabe. I'll put them 1-2. And if one of them start, we won the draft. And I want to see how fans and media react, because I've noticed one thing from the Cavs to the Browns. Something goes wrong, we blame Garland, the coach, or Allen. Something goes wrong in Cleveland, we were going to hold Andrew Berry to the fire. We're going to hold Haslam to the fire. Kevin Stefanski, to me, he gets a pass, but that's neither here nor there. So if Shedeur balls out, are they going to give Jimmy credit because they said it was Jimmy, or are we just going to do the right thing and just say, okay, Jimmy, let them draft who they wanted to draft? Because I've heard that it was Barry who said, let's go get the kid. So I just want to know where the media is going to go when this season goes good, because I think they're going to look good. We might not make the playoffs, but I think it's going to be more positive to negative.
X, I've only been here since 22, so my Cleveland-specific experience is limited. I have been in media coming up on 10 years in August, which is crazy. I feel so old. It's absurd that this is going to be my 10 years of making a living doing this. I don't know the exact answers, and I can't predict how this is going to unfold. All I know is from my short time in Cleveland, if they're winning, or not even winning, if Shedeur looks good, that's all that matters this season. The record, I said this last night, if they go 0-17 because the defense can't get a stop, but Shedeur or Dillon look like the future starting quarterback, this is a tremendous of a season. Then you have 2 first-round picks to go fill out the rest of your roster. Trade one of those first-round picks for a 2028 first to get Jeremiah Smith. But you have all those options. You have solved the most important hole in your roster.
That's what everyone should be cheering for.
Record be damned. All that matters is finding a quarterback. And for us, there would be no better outcome for Browns fans than if Gabriel or Shedeur hits. Either one. If one of those 2 hit, it's a tremendous win, because now you have all these assets to fill out the rest of your roster and have the quarterback position solidified.
That's what we should be praying for.
Either one. X, this was only 13 minutes. We could probably do 30 minutes on this. Easy. I got to go run. We'll do part 2 of this coming up. If you don't follow X on Twitter, make sure you can follow him. His Twitter handle is on the screen there. The real Xavier P. And last thing, X. I now know what the Browns made their schedule release video in reference to. I swear to God, last night I thought it was a shout out to On the Clock. Off the Clock. I really did think that was connected to you guys somehow at first.
Hey, OTC, we blowing up. We everywhere.
That's Xavier P. We'll do part 2 of this coming up, because this is, I think, a fascinating conversation next. But I got to go hop on Bleacher Report for a Cavs stream, and they pay me more than I'm getting paid right now. So I can't miss that. I got to run. Follow X on Twitter. We appreciate y'all tuning in. If you're a CU Auntie, we'll see you tomorrow on UCSS. Peace.